So I want to say, hey guys, it's Klaus. I'm excited today. I am excited today because I think I finally found it. I found the one, the replay. I found it. The replay that epitomizes and symbolizes World of Tanks in a nutshell. This is the one. I've been looking for it for so long, and I found it. We're going to watch here. Allied enemy. even his name is the first step to understanding this game. He's your allied enemy. And he's driving the tank that, in a nutshell, embodies everything, all the characteristics. It exemplifies and illustrates, personifies and represents and stands for everything that symbolizes this game as a whole. Let this video be a model for all, especially the new players that are just starting out. And of course, if I had to choose one video that personifies the whole essence of this experience that we call World of Tanks, I had to choose a Russian tank. A Russian tank that happens to be tier for tier, say the best in its class, which narrows down the choices to 17 or 18 different tanks. So it's not as simple as just, showing any old game. And this particular tank is one that you had to purchase a long time ago. And at that time, it wasn't that good. So it was buffed. And now it's the best. And it was Russian, and it wasn't very good, and it was buffed, so now it's the best. Now, if you had bought a German tank a long time ago, and now it's not very good, it could rot in your garage forever. But this is a Russian one, and is now improved to be one of the best. And you can still buy the crappy German ones, but this one here, now that it's very good, you can't buy it anymore. You can only get it in special events, like in loot boxes and things like that. But that's besides the point. The point is that it is Russian, and it is the best in its class, for tier. Sometimes there are other tanks that are the best tier for, like, for example, there could, well, at one time there was, for instance, a German tank that was the best tier for tier, the tier 10 TD, but it was removed quickly. And there have been occasions where an American tank was considered the best tier for tier, look at the tier 10 heavy tank, but it was nerfed immediately upon recognition of that flaw. This particular Russian tank that was average is now the best, and is only available under special circumstances. But I digress. That's not what this video is not about, going on and on and on and on about how great the Russian tanks are compared to all the other ones. That may be a topic for a future video. This video is about the characterization and the embodiment of the game as a whole. So let's watch the action here as the allied enemy sits behind this rock and focuses on this bush. Now, he has learned through his many thousands of games that occasionally enemies appear in this bush, and he wants to be ready if such an occurrence happens again. And that is why he's focusing there. And this is something that you must learn, that there are spots on the map that enemies sometimes appear, and you should be ready to shoot them. I think that's what we could take away from at least the beginning part of this video. But now, let's focus on the action. And there's a T-54 that's making a bold move, rushing towards the 5 enemies that are waiting for him. And he is pinging for help from his allied enemy, who moves forward and is going to provide support for. There's the T-54. He's gone out there to fight those 3 or 4 or 5 enemy tanks in his medium tank. He's rushed forward there. Unfortunately, allied enemy has missed all his shots. But the developers have thought of that possibility, that the auto-loading tank may miss its 3 shots, and so now this particular tank becomes a regular tank where it can just shoot every 10 seconds, like a regular IS-3. So, I mean, they think of everything, is what I'm trying to say. The T-54 is still struggling to fight that abundance of enemies, and has died, and now is pinging the location of his allied enemy, because he is not upset with the decision that he made to surge forward on his own versus 4 enemies. He's not upset about that. He's upset about his teammate, his allied enemy, his teammate's decision to, he explains in chat, oh, just keep camping with your .42 dispersion to snipe a T-54E1? He is very upset about that. He's very knowledgeable about the game, and he knows that this tank has .42 dispersion, and why are you camping and trying to snipe a T-54E1 with .42 dispersion? Don't you know that that is not the correct strategy? I know this game, and I know all the statistics, and I have .34 dispersion, and I charged forward to fight all 4 of them by myself. That's the correct strategy. Don't you know anything? And the T-54 is now in the garage launching his next game, where he can explain to his teammates the correct strategies and the statistics that are very important in understanding how to play this game successfully. Meanwhile, allied enemy continues on with the game, and his team is now losing 6-12. It is 6-12, and now he is approaching a German tank, which you have to purchase. A German tank here, which costs money, which is easily destroyed by the Russian tank that costs money. Allied enemy now is rushing back to help his teammate, the T-30, that magnificent tank with the great turret and gun depression and fantastic gun that can be invincible in certain positions. Unfortunately, he chose to cantilever his tank over the edge of that ledge up there that has no cover, and he's died, so allied enemy has not been able to save him. There is now an enemy that he could shoot, but he has decided not to. He has too many targets to choose from. Should he shoot this guy in the rear? No, there is no point shooting. Shooting just gets you detected, and it is good to wait for all of your teammates to die before you begin shooting. It is now, and then his teammates have died. They have all died, and now it is him versus 6. The enemy he decided not to shoot is still behind him. He is going to have to deal with him eventually. Here, might as well deal with him now. He's the Japanese tank who has launched himself off the cliff in an effort to, I think he was trying to distract allied enemies so that his teammates could easily surround him and take him out. And that's exactly what his teammates are going to do now. They've seen what's happened, and they realize that this IS-3A must be distracted, and they will not let their Japanese super heavies sacrifice go in vain. Here comes the M103, who is also providing distraction by leaping forward through the air and landing on the ground and exploding on his side, enabling the T-54E1, who he could not snipe with his .42 dispersion, to get closer. And now this enemy, who has his turret facing the wrong way, has decided that he too will try to distract the IS-3A so that the IS-3, the Russian tank, can move in and mop up this game and ensure victory. But unfortunately he bounced, and well, he exploded. He has exploded. Well, that escalated quickly, and well, it was the IS-3 versus the IS-3A, and the game's over. Allied enemy has, he's victorious. He has won. GG. Unfortunately, allied enemy is not aware that there is still one enemy left, and he is waiting for the game to end so that he could. What's going on? I think he's waiting for the game to end, but now realizes, oh well, the game. I was going to try and get my daily double on my next tank, but the game isn't over. What's going on? And he's looked at the screen and now realizes that there is one more enemy. So he has to do something. He has to do something to cause the game to end. So he's started to drive, and he's locked his turret over his right shoulder. He likes the look of this tank when the turret is over its right shoulder. And now he's going to try and wedge himself between this large dead tank and the cliff. in an effort to try to flip himself on his side, to give the enemy a chance, so that if he could just wedge himself here and flip himself on the side, that would even things. And he's not able to flip himself on his side. He's trying his best, but he manages to squeeze through. If he had his mini-map on, he would see the last known location of the last remaining enemy, the UDES-3, and he would choose a route that is fairly direct, yet providing cover towards him. But he does not have the mini-map on, so he's going to approach the last known position in the longest possible route available on this map, carefully maintaining his turret pointed slightly to the right, which is the way he likes to point it. Let's follow him along here. He's moving. He's got the turret pointed to the front now, which is... no, there you go, there you go. This is the way he likes it. He likes to have the turret pointing to the right, and he accidentally turned left there. He's having a little bit of trouble with the controls, but there. Okay, now he's got them. He's got them. He's got the turret pointing slightly to the right, and he's moving the tank forward, which requires a little bit of coordination, because there's the left hand and the right hand need to work together. Dexterity is an asset, is what I'm trying to say. Those of us who are dexterous do have an advantage in this game at times, especially at the end when it's one-on-one. So the team's allied enemy has now made his way back to where he started this game, in the same position, right about the same position where that T-54 surged forward. Here he goes. He is approaching the dead tank. There's the T-54 and the enemies that he surged forward towards. 3 dead, burnt out hulls there, which do not faze allied enemy. They do not scare him. He is slowly working his way towards the enemy territory. Who will he encounter there? What shall he do when he gets there? Where could that UDES-3 possibly be? There is the last known position on the minimap, on that little ledge, the same ledge that his teammate in the T-30 cantilevered himself over the edge on his side of the map, enabling the enemies to easily kill him. The UDES probably went there at the beginning of the game. It probably took him about 17 seconds to get into that spot, that sniping support ledge. He probably got there within 17 or 18 or maybe 19, 20 seconds at the beginning of the game. And now 13 minutes have gone by. The last 8 minutes of that 13, probably with no shots, no one rendered on his screen, and nothing to do. So he's obviously moved. He's obviously set up an ambush somewhere in an unsuspecting spot. An allied enemy is being very careful to wiggle his turret left and right in anticipation of such an ambush. But he's going to go and see if this UDES is still there. There he is! He is still there! And he is pointed in the correct direction, and he is in siege mode, and he did manage to take 1 shot. But the developers have thought about that and are giving this IS-3A 3 shots, which it can fire back in return and emerge victorious! The post-game stats, summarizing this game in a nutshell: Kolobanov's medal for the IS-3A, who finishes on top with 6 kills, with more damage than that reckless, knowledgeable T-54. And now I'm sure that you all realize why I was so gleefully happy at the beginning of this replay, because I have finally found it. I finally found it. The one game. The one game that displays, clarifies, typifies, symbolizes, shows, exhibits, enlightens, spells out, emblematizes, represents, personifies, mirrors, manifests, illustrates, demonstrates, depicts, elucidates, embodies, epitomizes, and illuminates World of Tanks in a nutshell.